You've probably been told that creating your dream life is a struggle, that it requires complicated rituals, endless visualizations, perfectly crafted affirmations, and a non-stop effort to raise your vibration. But here's the truth. Real manifestation, especially at the quantum level, is shockingly simple. So simple, in fact, that most people miss it completely. Right now, you're living inside a quantum field, a limitless space of pure possibility. This field doesn't respond to how hard you try. It responds to how aligned you are. Yet, most people approach manifestation like it's a battle. They try to overpower their current reality with sheer will. They repeat affirmations they don't actually believe, imagine outcomes they quietly doubt, and force positive thoughts while their bodies are still trapped in stress, scarcity, and fear. And that's exactly why it doesn't work. In the quantum world, forcing creates resistance. Let's simplify this. Manifestation isn't about getting what you want. It's about stepping into the version of reality where what you want already exists. It's not about changing the outer world. First, it's about shifting your inner signal so that reality bends toward you. The quantum field contains every possible outcome: abundance and lack, health and illness, love and loneliness, success and failure. All of it already exists as waves of probability. But here's the key. Nothing becomes real until it's observed with coherence. Your attention, your emotions, your focus, these are what collapse possibilities into physical experience. The problem is, most people are observing from fear. They're focused on what's missing. They're vibrating at the frequency of lack while hoping to draw in abundance. And energetically, this creates static, not signal. We've been conditioned to chase after what we want, but the real secret of manifestation is to stop chasing and start being, to embody the version of yourself who already has the life you desire, because in truth, you're already connected to it. The field is waiting for your clarity, not your desperation. So why don't most people succeed? Because simplicity feels uncomfortable, because surrender feels like giving up, because letting go of the chase feels unnatural. But here's the paradox. The moment you release the neediness, the universe can finally deliver. Think back to a time when something important came to you effortlessly. Maybe you met the right person by chance. Maybe an opportunity appeared without you even searching. Maybe inspiration struck when you weren't trying. What do those moments have in common? You weren't forcing. You were open, relaxed, and aligned. That's quantum manifestation in action. The field doesn't listen to your words. It tunes into your energy. You can repeat, "I am wealthy," 1,000 times. But if your body is broadcasting fear and your heart is locked in scarcity, the field will reflect that back to you, not out of cruelty, but out of precision. Here's the radical shift. Manifestation begins not when you focus on getting, but when you focus on being. When you embody the vibration. When your state, not your struggle, leads the way. And that raises the deeper question. What exactly does the quantum field respond to? Thoughts, emotions, beliefs, actions. The answer is, it responds to the coherence of all of them together. That's where most teachings fall apart. They emphasize one piece, like think positive or visualize, but ignore the deeper alignment. They tell you to imagine abundance while your subconscious is bracing for loss. They tell you to repeat affirmations while your nervous system is still stuck in survival. But the quantum doesn't hear fragments. It hears the full broadcast. That's why alignment is not just mental. It's full body, full system, full field. When your heart, your brain, and your subconscious are all in harmony, your signal becomes unmistakable. And that's when the field responds almost instantly. At the quantum level, reality exists in waves of potential until an observer collapses it into form. And that observer is not only your conscious mind, it's also your subconscious, which means if you consciously want abundance but your subconscious is tuned to scarcity, it's the deeper broadcast that wins. This is why so many people feel stuck. They're consciously saying yes, but unconsciously radiating no. And the field, like a mirror, reflects the deeper truth. Here's the exciting part. Science shows your heart generates an electromagnetic field far more powerful than your brain. When your heart and mind are in sync, you emit a coherent, unified signal into the quantum field. That's when life stops feeling like a struggle and starts flowing toward you with ease. When they're out of sync, the signal becomes weak and fragmented. This is why trying to manifest from your mind alone so often fails. Without the emotional component, the felt sense of alignment, the quantum field has no clear signal to mirror back. And this is where most people miss the mark. They want to think their way into change when in truth they must feel their way into alignment. You can't just tell the field what you want. You have to become the vibrational match to it. That means tuning your body, your breath, your nervous system, your beliefs, your daily choices into harmony. It's not a one-time ritual. It's a living practice. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine you want to manifest love. You can write affirmations, make vision boards, visualize your ideal partner. But if deep down you're carrying wounds of unworthiness, if your nervous system is braced for rejection, if your heart is armored and afraid to open, the quantum field feels that tension. It picks up the contradiction. And what you get back is more longing, more searching, more almost but not quite connections. It's not that the universe is punishing you, it's that it's perfectly mirroring your dominant frequency. So what's the shift? The shift is into coherence, into feeling whole now, into practicing the emotions of what you desire before it shows up, into embodying the state of already having it. So the field can collapse that timeline into form. You become the frequency first, and the form follows. Now, this might sound like a lot, but here's the simple, profound truth. The more you let go of controlling the outcome, and the more you focus on regulating your internal state, the faster the quantum responds. This is why the title of this video says it's simple, yet nobody does it. Because the human mind loves to complicate. We want 10 steps, 5 hacks, a guaranteed formula. But the quantum isn't a machine. It's a mirror. It's a dance partner. It's alive, responsive, intelligent, and it's waiting for you to meet it with a steady, embodied presence. So, here's where I want to invite you into this practice. Take a deep breath right now. Notice how your body feels as you listen. Notice where you're holding tension. Notice the stories running in the background. And just for a moment, soften. Let the grip loosen. Let the need to fix, force, and figure it all out dissolve. Feel what it's like to be okay right here, right now, without needing anything to change. This is where your power begins. Before we move on, I'd love to invite you into something that helps anchor this shift. If you're feeling a spark of recognition, if something in you is lighting up right now, hit that subscribe button. Join this space, this conversation, this community, and in the comments, drop one word, just one, that names the energy you want to embody this week. Maybe it's trust, maybe it's ease, maybe it's joy. Whatever comes to you first, that's your signal. Share it. Name it. Let it be real. Because the moment you name it, you start to align with it. Are you ready to explore why no one talks about this part of manifestation? The part that's so simple it almost feels like cheating. Shall we move into the next layer? So why is it that almost nobody actually does this? Why, with all the books, courses, and endless YouTube videos on manifestation, do so many people stay stuck, frustrated, and disappointed? The answer is both simple and uncomfortable, because letting go feels unnatural. The human mind is addicted to control. We've been conditioned to believe that the more we effort, the more we deserve, that struggle equals worth, that the harder we work, the more likely we are to succeed. So when we encounter a system like quantum manifestation, where the central key is coherence, alignment, and surrender, it short-circuits our programming. We keep trying to force outcomes, even though forcing is the very frequency that tells the field, we don't trust the process. Let's break this down. Most people who fail at manifestation are caught in what I call the control trap. They are constantly monitoring their results. They visualize abundance, but check their bank account every hour with anxiety. They script about love, but obsess over text messages and dating apps. They declare health, but scan their body for symptoms every morning. In doing this, they send a signal of mistrust to the field. They are affirming one thing consciously, but broadcasting the opposite subconsciously. Why does this matter so much? Because the quantum field does not speak English or Spanish or Portuguese or any human language. It speaks the language of energy, and energy never lies. You can say all the right words, but if your nervous system is bracing for loss, if your mind is locked in loops of doubt, if your body is flooded with cortisol, the field listens to that deeper frequency. This is why so many people are exhausted. They are doing all the things, but they are doing them from a place of hypervigilance, scarcity, and lack. And so they loop. They manifest more waiting, more lack, more efforting, more searching because, energetically, they are not in the timeline of already having. They are in the timeline of trying to get. And here's where it gets even more subtle. The subconscious mind runs about 95% of your life. It is the automatic pilot that shapes your habits, beliefs, emotional reactions, and sense of identity. You may consciously want a breakthrough. But if your subconscious is anchored in old stories, I'm not enough. Nothing works for me. I have to fight for everything. Those stories will collapse the wave into the same old outcomes. This is why affirmations without embodiment feel hollow. This is why visualizations without nervous system regulation collapse. This is why action without aligned identity leads to burnout. So what can you do? First, you must understand that quantum manifestation is not an add-on to your life. It's a recalibration of your whole system. It's a remembering, a returning. It's about becoming the version of you that lives inside the timeline you desire before you see evidence of that timeline in your external world. For example, if you want to manifest abundance, you practice feeling abundant now. Not later, not when the money arrives, but now. You treat yourself with generosity, presence, and care. You let go of micromanaging the outcome, and you focus on embodying the signal of trust. If you want love, you practice loving yourself. Now, you open your heart. You soften your edges. You become the kind of partner you wish to attract. You stop seeking validation and start living as though you are already enough because you are. If you want health, you stop scanning your body for what's wrong and you begin nurturing what's right. You shift from survival mode into resilience. You practice gratitude for the body you have while gently guiding it toward greater vitality. And here's the paradox. When you stop needing it so badly, it arrives faster. Not because the universe is testing you or playing games, but because you are no longer the resistance. So, let me ask you this. Where in your life are you still holding the steering wheel with white knuckles? Where are you still measuring, tracking, forcing, and chasing? What would happen if you loosened your grip by just 10%? Pause with that for a moment. This is not about passivity. It's about shifting from control to co-creation. And that shift, subtle, powerful, revolutionary, is where quantum manifestation actually begins to work. In the next block, we're going to talk about the simple, but rarely practiced techniques that can help you realign your system, regulate your state, and become the clearest signal possible to the quantum field. We'll explore how to dissolve resistance without bypassing your real emotions, how to build trust with your subconscious, and how to step into the timeline you desire as though it's already yours. So, here's my question for you to reflect on before we move forward. Where in your life are you gripping so tightly that you've become the very block you're trying to remove? So here we stand right at the edge of the most powerful truth in quantum manifestation, the part almost no one talks about, the part hidden in plain sight. It's this: you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. This isn't just a pretty idea. It's a fundamental principle that shapes how the quantum field interacts with you. The field doesn't respond to your words, your vision boards, or your Pinterest perfect affirmations. It responds to the signal of your being, the vibrational signature you carry into every room, every thought, every interaction. And that signal is built moment by moment, not in what you're doing, but in how you're being. Let me explain this with a metaphor. Imagine you're a radio. If you want to hear jazz, you don't sit there demanding jazz from the universe while staying tuned to a heavy metal station. You have to change the dial. You have to tune your frequency to match what you want to receive. Quantum manifestation works the same way. You can't pull in the timeline you desire while vibrating in the frequency of the timeline you're trying to leave behind. So how do you change the dial? You start by becoming conscious of your current frequency. Not just what you think, but how you feel. How does your body move through the day? How do you breathe when you're stressed? What stories run on a loop in the background of your mind? Most of us are not manifesting deliberately. We're manifesting on autopilot, recycling the same states, the same reactions, the same energetic broadcasts, and the field. It faithfully mirrors those back to us. The shift begins when you interrupt the pattern, not with brute force, not with frantic effort, but with simple embodied practices. It can be as subtle as taking a conscious breath in a moment of anxiety, as gentle as placing a hand on your heart when you're spiraling into self-doubt, as bold as asking yourself, what would the version of me who already has this do right now? And then taking one small action from that place. Because here's what no one tells you. The quantum doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be coherent. Coherence happens when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction. It's when you stop saying one thing, feeling another, and doing something else entirely. It's when your whole system hums with a single unified signal. And when you reach that state, even briefly, you create a kind of gravitational pull in the field. Reality begins to bend toward you. But let's get practical. If you want to embody abundance, practice generosity, not just with money, but with attention, with time, with energy. Train your nervous system to feel the sensations of, I have enough, even if the numbers in your bank account haven't caught up yet. If you want to embody love, practice vulnerability. Open your heart in small, courageous ways. Be the safe space you're longing to find in someone else. If you want to embody health, practice presence. Listen to your body. Feed it, move it, rest it from a place of respect, not punishment. This is the simple path, and yet few walk it because it asks you to go first, to become the frequency before the evidence arrives, to lead with being, not needing. And this brings us to one of the most misunderstood pieces in the whole manifestation conversation: emotional regulation. People assume manifestation is about feeling good all the time. It's not. It's about feeling real all the times and learning to bring your system back into alignment when you wobble. This means welcoming your emotions, not bypassing them. It means holding space for fear without letting it drive the car. It means practicing emotional fluency so you can navigate waves without drowning in them. Here's the truth. You will wobble. You will doubt. You will have days when the old timeline pulls at your heels. That's okay. The power isn't in never falling. It's in how you return. So, here's my invitation to you right now. Take a breath. Notice where you are. Ask yourself, what timeline am I tuned to in this moment? Is it the one of fear or the one of trust? Is it the one of lack or the one of abundance? Is it the one of waiting or the one of arrival? No judgment, just noticing. Because the moment you notice, you create a choice point. And choice is the gateway to coherence. In the next block, we're going to pull this all together. We'll explore how to turn these insights into a living practice, how to navigate setbacks with grace, and how to sustain the frequency that collapses your dream timeline into reality. But before we continue, I want to thank you for walking this journey so far. If you're feeling lit up, if you're feeling seen, if you're sensing that something inside you is already shifting, hit that subscribe button. Join this space, this community, this conversation, and in the comments, drop a word that captures your intention right now. Maybe it's allow, maybe it's expand, maybe it's flow. Whatever it is, that word becomes your signal to the field. Here we are, the final piece of the puzzle. And I want you to really hear this. Manifestation is not a performance. It's a practice. It's not something you master once. It's something you live moment by moment, choice by choice. So many people get stuck in the mindset that manifestation is about doing more, hacking the system, perfecting the formula. But in truth, the most powerful manifestors aren't the ones who know the most techniques. They're the ones who... People who truly understand this practice know how to bring themselves back into balance when life inevitably throws them off course. Because here's the truth. Tests will come. There will be days when doubt sneaks back in, when familiar patterns try to reclaim you, when the old reality you've outgrown feels like it's pulling you back. In those moments, the instinct is often to tighten your grip, to control, to push harder. But real mastery is found in the opposite. Can you stay in the energy of trust even before the proof shows up? Can you hold the vibration of "it's already done" while your outer world still looks unchanged? Can you root yourself so firmly in the new version of you that the old one no longer tempts you? This is where embodiment becomes the foundation. So let's bring it into the everyday. Each morning, before you check messages or dive into your tasks, pause, breathe deeply and ask yourself, what frequency am I stepping into today? Scarcity or abundance? Fear or trust? Forcing or flow? As the day unfolds, let your body be your guide. Your body knows the moment you fall out of alignment. It shows up as tension, restlessness, or heaviness. When that happens, don't criticize yourself. Don't spiral. Simply notice, breathe, and shift. Ask, what would the version of me living in my desired reality choose right now? Then take even one small step from that place. And at night, as you drift into sleep, reflect with curiosity rather than judgment. Where did you wobble? Where did you align? Where did you glimpse your own power? Gratitude magnifies alignment. So celebrate even the smallest victories. Here's something many people miss. We don't do this work alone. We are wired to tune into the energy of those around us. When you connect with others who are practicing alignment, who live in coherence, who choose to play in the quantum field, you naturally rise to that frequency. That's why curating your environment matters. Surround yourself with people, spaces, and reminders that anchor you in the reality you're choosing. And remember, there is no final destination here. This isn't about arriving once and stopping. It's about living in a constant unfolding, becoming the living edge of your own evolution. You're not here just to manifest objects. You're here to live as a conscious creator, an active participant in shaping reality itself. Because the most profound truth is this: the field you're trying to influence isn't outside of you. It isn't separate. It is you. You are woven into it. You are both the wave and the watcher, both the creator and the creation. So when you tune your frequency, you're not waiting for life to catch up. You're becoming the very life you've been reaching for. So here's my invitation to you. In the comments, write one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward. Maybe that word is ease. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's abundance. Or maybe it's something uniquely yours. Let that single word be a declaration, a seed planted in both this space and within yourself. And if this message lit something inside you, if you felt a shift, a spark, or a remembering, I warmly invite you to subscribe. This isn't just a channel. It's a living community of people stepping into their creative power. By subscribing, you're stepping into a movement that is reshaping what's possible. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for your focus, your energy, your presence. You are not just a listener. You are a co-creator in this unfolding. Keep aligning, keep tuning, keep playing in the field.